Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone, welcome to episode 56 of the International Pentagon Challenge. As we know, we're up against Burkina Faso, who are apparently somehow top of the group. So, let me explain to you how they are currently top of the group. So, in the last episode, if you remember, we drew 0-0 undeservedly to Morocco. Burkina Faso beat Zambia, in that game. And then Zambia beat Morocco yesterday. So, Morocco, I mean, they've gotten a point from the draw against us. And I think they pretty much have to beat Burkina Faso to even stand a chance of finishing second. Now, obviously, it kind of emphasises to us that we shouldn't take Zambia lightly, and at the same time, we know we shouldn't really take Burkina Faso lightly. So, yeah, let's jump straight into this one. Okay, so I think I've managed against Burkina Faso with Egypt at least once in the past, and, you know, again, their main threat is Hassan Bande out on the left-hand side, who's going to be playing more as a inside forward, which again, out on that side, matches up well with Abdelraouf, who's an inverted wing-back for us. Other than that, though, we honestly don't know much about the players, and I think in games like this, I've said it before, I say it again, I kind of sound like a broken record. You just got to play your own game, and in the end, your quality should shine through. We're going to be coming up against a team defending deep with a target man up front, a team who are quite aggressive, haven't really scored much goals and are really going to be looking to try and hit us on the counter-attack. They scored most of their goals early on in the game, trying to catch you out, so we will keep that in mind by retaining possession. And as long as we keep their kind of pacey wide men relatively tight, I think we should be okay. Their main weaknesses, I'd say, are probably their back four in this case. And as long as we go a little bit more direct after the first 10-15 minutes, I think we will eventually force a goal or two through. So in terms of tactically, obviously, we've moved Ramsey to left mid. In this case, we're keeping our fullbacks on attack. Both wingers will be attacking minded. And yeah, we've raised our defensive line and gone fairly narrow. Fairly narrow might not be a great idea, because they're going to be quite wide, given that they're playing with 5 flat in midfield. But I just want to start off relatively narrow early on and see where that takes us. And of course, in terms of wingers man marking, because Hani has really good defensive traits, that just helps us further up against Hassan Bande being down that side. There's one thing I really want to look out for this game. I want Saeed to open his account for this African Cup of Nations, because I feel like he's one of them players, once he's grabbed a goal or two, built up a bit of confidence. You know, he'll start looking like his former self again. Here we go then. We come out and obviously we'll have been watching in the hotel that shambles of a Morocco game. Can't afford another upset. I mean, if Burkina Faso somehow beat us, it leaves them on 6 points, so they're pretty much guaranteed getting out the group stages, which is pretty damn impressive when you're Burkina Faso. But anyways, Abdelraouf crosses the ball in, and it does get gathered up by Hervé Coffee. In goal for Burkina Faso. Tries to play it out wide, but doesn't really come too much. Bande, who has Hani being pretty tight to him, but it is then leaving the fullback with a lot of breathing space, so that could end up being something we look to change. We are quite narrow as well, but again, we're trying to be compact for the first 10 minutes or so. We don't want Burkina Faso to get an early, excuse my language, BS goal and, you know, hurt us from a mental perspective. So Bande to coffee number 2, finds Traore. I think what we'll look to do is obviously once we're no longer as deep, is we'll get Hani out on the right-hand side to not specifically man mark Hassan Bande. Hopefully then he'll basically look to occupy space further ahead of him, and that way that kind of left back for Burkina Faso won't always be in so much space. But there we go. It's taken us only 5 minutes to get the opener, and yeah, it looks like the referee also is actually letting a lot go. You can argue that the build-up to that goal, there maybe should have been a foul. So that's something we'll maybe bear in mind. I mean, as far as we're concerned, we're relatively aggressive in how we play. But, well, our left-back looks like he's got to come off as a result of that. So that's not really fantastic. So Raouf will play as a left full-back. Hani can now move back to becoming a full-back on support. Yeah, you can keep an eye out on Hassan Bande. And in terms of a change out on the right-hand side, I think this is time now for Ramadan Subhi to make an appearance. We'll play him as an advanced playmaker on support. And because he's basically going to be playing kind of as an advanced playmaker on support, I am actually now going to tell him to stay tight to Hassan Bande. It kind of goes against what I was saying with Hani, but when Hani's kind of out wide, it kind of makes a difference. But now I'm trying to enforce the off-the-ball shape for a while. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, sorry. But yeah, we can now stop playing as narrow as we were, increase our width a little bit, and jump straight back into the game. Hopefully it's not a serious injury, because Siam is quite an important player for us. On the overlap, very good crosser of the ball. I think he plays for West Ham at the moment. Another interesting fact going on in this save at the moment is that Danny Welbeck has taken the Dagenham and Redbridge job. So, yeah, Danny Welbeck is managing them. So, yeah. And I think Dafra Sacco, it said he was managing someone as well. Some other weird lower league side. But, yeah, we're 2-0 up. It's looking good. And I think this is a point now where we, you know, switch to key highlights, because we've not really seen much from Burkina Faso. So it looks like we've switched to key highlights and it's taken us straight to half-time. Could it actually happen? A record shortest episode ever. We're quite fortunate in the sense that obviously Morocco lost, so we don't need to chase goals for the sake of goal difference. But, yeah, there we go then. So, struggle for possession, blah, 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 blah. Let's be honest, we could be playing a little bit better. I'm not really happy with what I've seen so far. I think this is a good opportunity as well to give some of the other lads a bit of a run around and rest some of the lads on the pitch at the moment. So the question is, who are we taking off? Who are we bringing on? I think Saeed has to come off. Give Hassan some time to kind of bring up that match fitness from 79% and see if he can grab a goal as well, build up some of his confidence. If he does grab a goal, he starts the next game. It's that simple. I'm not going to keep playing Saeed just because of who he is and because he plays for Stoke and because of the goals he scored for us in the past. I need players who can perform here and now at this kind of, you know, important stage for us at the African Cup of Nations. I really do feel like we can win this African Cup of Nations. Whilst in the past, obviously, with a nation that's more like Angola, rather than aiming to win, the aim was obviously, I think I need to tell Subhi Ramadan to calm down, where the aim wasn't really to win the tournament. The aim was to do well, to go on to a bigger team within the continent. I think Egypt are, without shadow of a doubt, one of the biggest teams in Africa, and as we saw in some of our friendlies, we are capable of taking on the likes of Morocco, the likes of Nigeria, the likes of South Africa and whatnot we've played against in the past within this continent. So if we can put Africa to bed here and obviously resign and go to another continent, then that will really be such a great finish it. There we go. It would be a really great, what's the word I'm looking for here? Really great progress for us in terms of aiming to complete this International Pentagon Challenge in a very short period of time. It's a good ball as well from Ramadan Subhi, I think. I think he'll have got the assist for that goal. And yeah, it is what it is. We're 3-0 up. everything's looking comfortable. Everything's looking nice and dandy. Hassan was unlucky not to actually get on the score sheet. I think we can tell the lads to stop getting booked needlessly right now, because while the referee was letting a lot go early on, unfortunately, he's, as we can see, not been doing that within the second half. So let's make one more substitution, and I think we'll take Ramsey off. He's a very, very hard worker for us. I think, no, he can't play that far forward. Okay. Can Farouk? Yeah, Farouk can kind of play there. We'll just play him on support. Important player for us, Ramsey. Winger, so obviously he does a lot of running, and we don't want him to get injured later on in the tournament, because we already have come into this tournament with the odd injury here and there. And sometimes, you know, tournaments like this, injuries can sometimes be the difference between winning and, for example, only making the final or only making a semi-final. So it's really important that we keep our key players fit. Top Sober is going to play in Yamagogo, and it's a very good save from Fekri. Not too pleased with some of our defending, so I think what we'll do is we'll just change the control. Drop this down a little bit, tell lads to take a bit of a breather, and dribble less. And let's just try and hold on to the ball now. Frustrate Burkina Faso, and hopefully put an end not just to this match, but to this episode on a positive note. So here we go, we're approaching the last 5 minutes. Interestingly enough, we've only had one clear-cut chance, but hey, we've scored 3 goals, so I can't really complain too much. Quite happy with the substitutions we made. I think we saw some good examples of squad depth involved, and it makes you wonder whether we can maybe, just maybe, grab a cheeky 4th goal before the end of the match. Shauki to Abdurraouf towards Ramadan Subhi, who finds another Ramadan. Hassan will shoot, and while the Egyptian fans sound their appreciation, we unfortunately don't hit the back of the net. Subhi will shoot from a distance, and it's just saved by Hervé Kofi Annan. And there we go. This is probably going to be the good old-fashioned Football Manager annoying final highlight just before the final whistle goes. So overall, we didn't really do too much in terms of tactical tweaking. We didn't really know much about the opposition side, but it is really positive that we can come into a game against weaker opposition and just dispose of them with ease and control the game so damn well like we have done. Still a bit disappointed that one of our strikers is yet to score, but good at the same time to see some of the other lads chipping in with the goals as well. But here we go. Obviously, assertively tell the lads, good win, boys. Well done. And that is going to be it for this episode. So far, so good. We are indeed on course. Unbeaten so far at the 2029 African Cup of Nations. Quick look at what's happening in the other groups at this stage, because let's be honest, we've got the time to do so. Group A, Cameroon, top of that with Algeria. Algeria, though, did lose to someone. Probably Cameroon, yeah, 2-1 loss to Cameroon. Only beat Togo 1-0 as well. So Tanzania could easily still steal second place. We're obviously top of the group on 4 points for us after drawing to Morocco. Bear in mind, we've probably got one of the toughest groups here. Ivory Coast and South Africa top Group C. Mali top Group D. These guys are kind of yet to play their second game, so it's still very early to make conclusions or jump to conclusions about these groups. But as we can see, Ghana, interestingly, lost to Mali. So if Ghana don't make it into the last 16, for us, you know, that's a massive result, and it's almost somewhat reminiscent of when we were managing Japan in the Asian Cup, and we had loads of upsets and loads of random teams making the knockout stages, when a lot of the strong teams we anticipated would be against in the semi-final and whatnot ended up losing early on. A point apiece for everyone in Group E. That group could still go either way. You probably put your money on Senegal topping it though. And as far as Group F are concerned, Guinea and Liberia are struggling against Nigeria and Tunisia. And Inacho, top scorer, contracted to Galatasaray, 32 years old. Okay, still looks like a pretty decent player for them, to be honest. So probably wouldn't want to face Nigeria at the moment. Didn't play against us, I don't think, when we played them in a friendly earlier on in the season. So yeah, but so far, so good. And on that note, we'll put things to an end here. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next episode for the game against Zambia. Thanks for watching.